So,
Yeah.
this is too. Would you got? You know, just so you know, we can start the show whenever you guys would like.
I am ready.
Guy with the farmer hat. Are you ready to start the show?
When you say farmer hat, this was given
Yeah.
to me on a tobacco plantation in the Dominican Republic.
Right, it's a farmer hat. I got it. Yeah, same thing.
Hence, the tobacco leaves.
Just so you know, when you wear the hat like that, hi Bruce. My name is Alliance. How are you? So, but listen, as I said to you earlier, now see that's you're more dapper without the hat, my friend.
Hello.
Yeah.
I think so. Hello. All right, ladies and gentlemen. I think we're going to start just for fun.
Yep.
What do you think? All right.
Absolutely.
This is 2OF Entertainment.
Welcome back to the show, everybody. Look at this. The Three Muscatels are here.
Absolutely.
Late and on time.
How's everyone doing?
It's a
All
beautiful
good,
day in the
Anita.
neighborhood.
I'm going to throw Usman straight into this one. Straight
Uh-oh.
into it.
Okay. Yeah.
Can Pakistan's leading cigar, Habanos sommelier, identify the cigar?
Hold on. Let's do a close-up of it then. There
That's
you
a
go.
Monte Cristo. Okay. Now, okay.
I've cut it, so
Yeah, that's fine. Looking at this, I am thinking this is a number 5.
maybe
a
not.
number
No.
6.
No. Oh, sorry. Wait. This I can't see the ring gauge. If you do that, I might be able to do it. Yeah, now that helps me. Okay, fine. I'm thinking this is this. Yeah. That's fine, Radha. I'm okay. Now I am very confused right now. Yet I think this should be a 3 or 4. It should be a 3 or a 5 if the ringage is somewhere like 3 or 4 if the ringage is somewhere around 40s. But if I'm unable to figure out the ringage rightly, then it might be an Edmundo also.
You are a king because it is an Edmundo.
It is an
See,
Edmundo. Yep.
that is exactly why I was confused. Till the time you were not showing me the ringage, I was like, what is it happening here? But now I get it.
That's very cool. Look at that. We get balloons. There we go.
And the other thing is, Gio.
Gio, everybody, Gio.
Mm-hmm.
So just so we know, this is a beautiful Macallan, 25-year-old, and the girl that poured it was 21 years old. That's another story. And I'm smoking. I've never had a cigar from Drew Estates, which is a New World cigar, and it's their Year of the Dragon cigar. And it's a nice smoky cigar, and I like it. And I will say, I'm pleasantly surprised. I've never had a Drew Estate before in all my years of smoking a cigar. And I got this the other day. Someone gave it to me, and that's very good.
That's a good recommendation. Never had it before. I'm going to try it with you.
You were smoking.
We're having problems from Pakistan.
Usman is having a metallic.
You were smoking
Not a clue.
Can someone translate?
I can't translate metallic. So, one more time.
Weren't you smoking a Liga Privada the other day?
He was smoking a Liga.
I was.
Yes.
A pig number 9. I smoked that 2 weeks ago.
So that's also by Drew Estate.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay, so then I have smoked a Drew Estate, but this one says, right here, as you can see, maybe kind of, sort of, Drew Estates, and it's the Year of the Dragon one. So I was impressed with the pig, and I'm impressed with the with this one. This is why we have a sommelier, because he knows cigars, and I just go, "Ooh, look, they're pretty." So
I've done a summary 2 weeks ago. Stephen has done the summary last week. Usman, would you like to give us or give the audience a 1-minute summary of what this program is about?
Can you remember?
Absolutely. It is absolutely. Well, the program is about me beating you both when it comes to the conversation, and look pretty. That's it. No, on a
Very
serious
good.
note,
Couldn't have said it better myself.
on a serious note, welcome everyone. Well, the program is all about what do people who smoke cigars sit together and talk about. So it is a fun way of us
Apart from
interacting,
cigars.
smoking.
Apart from cigars.
Yes, apart from cigars. So apart from cigars, what is it that we talk about? How do we spend our time, and how does the camaraderie gets stronger and stronger? So that's what I would simply put it. And for the starters, we generally introduce the cigars we're smoking, talk a little bit about that, and then move on to the topic, which for this time, Raza, do you remember?
Well, I've already for the first time, I've already
the question is, do you
selected.
remember that?
I've already selected my top 3 female comedians of all time.
Wow, we're so screwed.
These
Yeah,
surely
just so
are-
and listen, and I'm so glad that you've done that. But and just so the audience may remember from last week, this week's topic
Yeah.
of our dinner guests is famous athletes. So
Yeah.
I'm glad that you've picked the comedians. So this should go well with our dinner guests. So I'm so looking forward to this.
Specifically because he's the one who suggests the topic every time.
Yes, every week you suggest a topic, and it's good. And this is the only time I was thinking of this morning because we were doing a show earlier, and during the show I kept looking at my phone saying, you know, Riza hasn't sent me a text asking what the show's about. I'm thinking to myself, this is going either way. So there you go.
He spoke to me a couple of hours ago, and he did not even. And let me be very honest. He says, "Oh, the recording is today." I was like, "Yes, sir."
Wow.
So he didn't even remember that.
Don't mind that I sent you a text message 3.5 hours before we did the show to remind you that there's a show. So
Classic banter, classic filling up the airtime on the radio station.
Oh my God!
May I ask a question?
Sure.
Stephen and I have already submitted our cigar. What is Usman smoking in this blue hue?
Okay. So, gentlemen, this is the newest release in the Hoyo de Monterrey line. This is an Epicure number 3.
Number 3, yes.
Yes. I've recently.
You need to bring it closer to the camera. We could not see the band properly. You need to bring it right up to the camera. That's one hell of a cigar. It's one hell of a smooth smoke. I've had that 3 or 4 times.
Yeah.
That's a nice smoke. Oh, look, it has no head. Looks like a girl I know. So. Very nice.
I'm smoking this Epicure number 3. This is a new release, last year released. I was lucky to get a few boxes. And to be honest, this is becoming my new favorite when it comes to an afternoon or an early evening cigar.
Very nice.
And it has started to beat up the Epicure number 2 technically.
Wow.
Oh, actually, may I intercede?
Yes.
Please.
That's Usman's.
Wow.
That's a serious piece of kit there. That's on its way to
Nice.
Usman.
Very nice.
Yes, sir. Thank you very
And
much.
just
Serious piece of kit.
that's right. And just so we're clear, I didn't see the box on its way to Steve yet, but that's okay. Don't worry about that.
Or even David.
David never gets anything. In fact, David and I were discussing that.
No,
He's like,
your incentive is to get yourself over to London side.
That's
your incentive.
I know. I'm aware. And I said to David, when we go to London to do the show, we're going to do 3 or 4 shows, and are you going to come? And he said, "Oh, I can come." I go, "Well, you can come. You can't come into the cigar places. You can't have dinner with us or anything. You can sit outside and watch everything." I said, "But you can come.
You can park the car.
You can park the car." I said, "We have a job for you, but you can't actually be with any of us because
I would like on one of these recordings for David to be part of the recording for the hell.
I'll ask him next week.
Us.
No.
It would be nice of him to join us.
just so we can bust his chops in person. So, and he did watch the show last week because he said, "You guys are going to go to Formula One in Qatar," and I was like, "Maybe." I said, "I'm going." He says, "Are they going?" I go, "Maybe." He goes, "Can I go?" I go, "You can come to Qatar." I said, "You're not allowed in the airport, and you're not allowed at Formula One." I said, "But you can come to the country." So I think he's driving there now. I don't understand. So it's good for him. So we don't want him to get too excited. So
Now, despite me faking my Alzheimer's and not remembering this week's program,
you're lucky you remember us.
Let me be very honest. I absolutely remembered it this
Oh,
week.
wow.
And there was a good way of remembering it because it was all about what's happening in Britain this summer. There's essentially 3 major sports that are sort of dominating people's viewership and dominating the headlines.
Right.
Football, which you
Football.
folks in the USA like to call soccer, but it is actually football because
Football.
it's played Formula One. Formula One.
That was a great race Sunday, by the way. That was a great race Sunday.
Which
Formula
I don't
One at
watch
Silverstone.
anymore because I cannot stand Lewis Hamilton. And the other sport that is dominating UK sports right now is Wimbledon, tennis. So
you could not forget. Here's the really thing, really quick. Lewis was going to be a surprise guest today, so we're texting him now to tell him there's no reason for him to come on.
Find a river and do a running jump into it. As far as I'm
all right. Well, you shouldn't hold back your feelings. You should learn to let go more. I think.
How polite of Raza to say.
And on that note,
yeah,
those 3 sports encouraged me to pick my top sportsman from those 3 sports of all time. That's my theme. So it's a theme within a theme. I've gone for football, Formula One, and tennis. And I'm going to kick off proceedings this week.
Of course you are. Of course you are. It's your show. You should kick it off.
And I'm going to kick off with my first.
Has it ever been different?
Yeah, really. I don't understand.
No stealing.
Well, Stephen keeps saying, Reza, it's your show. I think that gives me a little bit of maneuverability in going first.
Yeah.
Go, please.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I'm picking now, this is not necessarily the best sportsman. It's the one that's memorable for me and the one that I would like to have dinner with and the one that made the biggest impression on me. So I'm going to start with tennis.
Okay.
Really?
And with tennis, I had basically 2 people in mind who dominated the late 70s and early 80s, who were rivals.
Yep.
Who were rivals. And I had to pick one of them who I would have dinner with. And I went for the one that's more verbose and outspoken.
John McEnroe, baby.
You know exactly who.
John McEnroe.
I'm going for John McEnroe.
Yep.
You cannot be serious, man. I'm going for John McEnroe to have dinner, and I think he would be splendid dinner company.
Oh, John? Oh my God, he would be awesome. He's calmed down now that he's gotten older, though.
We all calm down, but I would like to have dinner with the John McEnroe of then, of the sort of late 1979, 1980, 81.
Yeah.
I think he would be an absolute joker of a dinner guest. I think he smokes cigars. I would hope he smokes cigars.
Back in the day, I think he did. I don't know if he does now. He's got like 15 kids, so I'm not sure.
But he's outspoken. He's a very outspoken individual, and I really dig that about him. And I think that makes for so. Of course, I could have gone in the Bjorn Borg direction. I was a huge admirer of Bjorn Borg and his racket, and that very cold, calm, Swedish attitude that he brought to tennis. Yeah. But I thought in terms of dinner guests, the one that I'm going to enjoy more is John McEnroe, and John McEnroe it is. What do you think of my opening serve?
I think John McEnroe is great. I would say as an honorable mention, I would do Arthur Ashe, because Arthur Ashe did a lot for tennis as well. So I would do an honorable mention to Arthur Ashe if we're doing tennis. Unfortunately, I have no tennis people because I only get guys in real sports. Not like, I'm gonna wear little white. I'm gonna wear little white shorts and play some tennis. So, and I joke, but I give them a lot of credit. A friend of mine many years ago was ranked 180th in the world in tennis, and I would joke with him. And then when you realize how tough it is to get to where you go, and so I think he was in the first round of Wimbledon, and I was just like, that is. I would bust his chops, but I was impressed that he was world ranked 180th at the time. So. It was very
Oh
cool.
wow!
But it's not like a real sport. I'm sorry.
By the
No,
way, by the way,
Yeah.
gentlemen, I have to comment on this. I'm always blown away. What a smooth light up on the Edmundos. It's just such a smooth, creamy, very mildly cedary light up. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful.
I can totally trust you on that one, because this new baby is like a real caramel cream that starts. And
Hey, we're
and
going
and the
inside
best
for a
part,
second.
sure. And
Are the
the best
aliens
part,
attacking?
yeah, no,
They were here last week. They're not supposed to be here this week. Go ahead.
and Raza, check out the ash.
Pure white. Bring it closer to the camera.
Oh yeah,
Pure white.
Yeah.
so
Very
smooth
nice.
burn, despite the fact that I had a tapered cut on it.
You could have gone for a V
Despite
cut.
You're right, I could have, but the thing is, this is already such a smooth flow with the 55 ring gauge. I don't need a V cut to make it like more circumference and all of that.
Stephen, you okay? Are we receiving you?
I'm just listening to you guys because they're doing the lawn, and they were supposed to be here earlier, so now I have to be inside and wait till they're done to go back out. But I know who my next pick is, though. My next pick.
Who's your first pick?
My first pick. I saw him play when I was a kid in New York, and he played football, and he came from Brazil, and he played for the New York Cosmos, and he just passed away recently, and that is the one and only Pelé.
What a choice. What an absolute choice.
If you're
Absolutely
to me,
brilliant choice.
Thank you.
Black Pearl.
Yes,
Yeah.
He was phenomenal. I love Pelé. I watched him play as a kid. His career, I was just like, wow, this guy. And the things he would do with a ball back then, which Ronaldo and Messi kind of do today, but he makes Ronaldo and Messi, in my opinion, still look like amateurs. Pelé was the guy.
Do you remember Pelé was in a Sylvester Stallone movie, Escape to Victory?
No, I never saw it. Oh, yes, that's right. The World War II movie.
Yes,
That's right. That's exactly
yes,
right. And actually, I have a feeling that's probably where I first saw Pelé. Wow. It was in that movie. And of course, that movie was showing off his football skills because these guys were in a concentration camp. And they put a football team together to play against Germans, and Pelé was on that team, and other characters like Ozzy Ardiles and a lot of the British, the England team football player. But Sylvester Stallone was in goal, and that's where I remember Pelé from.
But I remember before the movie, when he came to when New York, when America tried to do football, and it failed in the 70s, they brought Pelé in to play for the New York Cosmos. And I remember we went to that game, and he was like past his prime, but he was still in his prime. Wow. He was still phenomenal. And I was just like, wow. And I was like, this is just crazy to watch this guy. So I was very, very impressed with Pelé.
You may be winning this round for a change.
I think so. For a change. Thank you so much.
Although John McEnroe might have something else to say about it. I would love to get John McEnroe on the program. What a man. What a character.
David, call John McEnroe.
Osman, how are you going to beat that?
Since we're on the topic of football,
you can't.
Well, okay, we'll go to that. The things.
Sportsmen and women.
Yeah, sportsmen. Yeah, I've ones who were actually been seen and have been like very much vocal about it. But when it comes to football, I don't recall Pele or haven't seen much of that. But what I recall and remember is Diego Maradona. So
Oh,
someone
yes.
who was a legend himself, and you can't beat that part. Someone on his right arm.
I think there's a spaceship flying over Usman's house.
He was
This one, yeah.
the spaceship in the form of the Cuban map
It could be.
with a
Could be.
Out of all of those things, I think
in
I
my
heard
opinion,
he said that Maradona is his choice.
Maradona. Yes, I think I heard Maradona.
And he's therefore
Yes, sir.
stolen one of my choices, which means I'm going to have to change mine.
Wow. And
Very
since
good.
before we
I'm
leave the
very,
first
I'm very
round,
happy. I'm very happy.
that he stole
Okay,
he stole one of
with
your choices.
Maradona, yes,
Yep.
I said Maradona, and I also said the fact that he was a cigar smoker and would show off cigars wherever he used to be makes it like, see the Cohiba Robustos and the Siglo Sixes and
Yep.
the Che Guevara tattoo on his right arm and the Fidel
That's
tattoo
right.
on
Yes.
his leg. On his leg, I mean that's like he was the OG when it comes to like badass
Yeah.
sportsmen smoking cigars.
Now,
Yes.
now, there does remain one question in this round.
Yeah.
Putting John McEnroe to one side, who was the better footballer, Pelé or Maradona?
Pele.
I would have
Pele,
to give
hands
it to
down.
Pele as well. Yes, agreed.
I would have given it to Maradona, but I think here's the world's first. Stephen won this round.
Wow. That's impressive. That's impressive. I'm very
I
that's very
thought
good.
I thought for my tardiness today I would show some contrition,
Oh my
and I
God.
would grace
That's
in
crap.
law.
Now, here's the interesting thing for honorable mentions, though, for the first round. I think you have like Billie Jean King, who did a lot for tennis as well. Since you brought up
Martina
tennis,
Navratilova.
Navratilova, yes, she should be an honorable mention. I think those two women did a lot for women's tennis as well as the LGBT community. So
That's right.
kudos to them as well. And Arthur Ashe did a lot as well. So I think all of them get honorable mentions. I like them, but I don't, and I think they're fascinating, but I have other people that I'd rather have. Listen, I'd have dinner and cigars and scotch with any of them, but there's other people out there that I would more like to have scotch and cigars with than them right now. Even though Pele's dead.
Now that Usman has screwed up one of my choices.
I like that, finally.
Just
for a change.
For a
For a change.
I'm going to change my round 2 choice.
Ooh.
Now I'm going for something. I can't participate in these things without going off on oblique little directions and trying to come up with something interesting. I'm going for a sport. You can call it sport. You can call it a game. You can call it a competition. You can call it whatever you feel like. That I participated in very frequently, regularly, and from time to time I still do.
Tiddlywinks?
Very, very close.
Okay.
I'm going for a sport. It's very hard for me to call this a sport, but it comes under games.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm going for my favorite chess player of all time.
Oh, sure.
And I'm going for the most interesting fucking dude on the planet.
Yep.
I'm going for Bobby Fischer.
Yeah. Bobby Fischer. Got it. Yeah, I like Bobby Fischer.
An eccentric beyond eccentricity, a genius beyond geniuses.
Yep.
A totally controversial human being. My goodness, what will the conversation be like with him at dinner table?
Yeah, that's true. I like Bobby Fischer.
Total genius.
Yeah.
And I think that's a pretty good choice for a dinner guest.
I think so. And I think that he would go off on so many tangents, it would be interesting. So now my next dinner guest is going to top Bobby Fischer.
I doubt it.
I think he will.
Go for it.
I never saw him in person, but I watched him as a kid. My father got to meet him when he was with his original name. And then I watched him every time he fought under a name called Muhammad Ali. And I take that back.
As a sportsman of sportsmen.
I did meet Muhammad Ali once. A friend of mine knew him, brought him to the office, and he did a magic trick for us. And this was in the 80s when he had his Parkinson's. But it's still the 1980s. Yes, he's still a gentleman, nicest gentleman ever. And he did a lot for sports. And he did a lot not just for athletes of color, but just for athletes in general.
Yeah, he did a lot for mankind, to be very honest with
you.
He
did.
In his capacity.
So Muhammad Ali.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I'm just saying,
Great choice. I think Fischer just beats him in terms of eccentricity.
That's true. You beat him there. Yes.
And brain power, it's Fischer.
In
terms of character, in terms of
I don't know about brain power. I think Muhammad Ali was a pretty smart guy.
Yeah.
I think he was very smart. So I don't know on brain power if he would beat him, but I think having him and Fischer at dinner together would be Muhammad Ali with his one-liners and his poems and
right.
And then an honorable mention with Muhammad Ali, because this guy wasn't an athlete, but would have to be Howard Cosell. Because Howard Cosell smoked cigars. Oh yeah, that as a group, are you kidding?
Actually, as a group, you want Howard Cosell, Muhammad Ali, and the comedian who used to do Muhammad Ali.
Billy Crystal.
Billy Crystal. Imagine those three on the table.
Oh my God, that would be the table among tables.
Very interesting. Yes.
And that would cover. And Billy Crystal covers your female comedian. So there you go. Sorry, Billy, I love you. So,
Usman, how are you gonna come back on that one?
No, I've decided that I'm not gonna compete with both of you.
You play your own game.
I'll play my own game because I think you guys just talk about whatever stuff that you have to talk about. Only the signature people. How can you not talk about cigars and sportsmen when you haven't even mentioned Michael Jordan so far?
Oh, fucking hell! My God, that's right.
How the hell are you talking about sportsmen without, and in that too, in a cigar show, or which is termed as Habanos Dinners and Drinks, without Michael Jordan?
This is a strong round. This is a very strong round.
I like Michael Jordan, but there's people I like better to have a cigar with than Michael Jordan. He's on my list, but he was sort of like an by the way. Like I would pick Charles Barkley before I'd pick Michael Jordan.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean? So
I would pick Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Will Chamberlain. I pick Will. Then at that point, might as well just pick Will Chamberlain.
The actor.
Will Chamberlain is a basketball player.
Oh, is he? I know nothing about.
Oh my God!
Yeah.
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
If you really want to pick a basketball player who gave Michael Jordan his come-ups, if it wasn't for this guy, Julius Erving from the New York Nets, knowing as Dr. J. That is the guy who made Michael Jordan, because if it wasn't for Dr. J's high-flying dunks back in the 70s before Jordan was even, coming out of his daddy's you-know-what, then there would be no Michael Jordan because Julius Erving, Dr. J, style, class, and knew how to play basketball. No, not saying Michael doesn't, but if I have a choice between Barkley, Julius Erving, and Michael Jordan, I'm probably going to go either to Julius Erving or Barkley before Michael Jordan.
Very strong round though, because Usman picked the cigar connection there.
Yes.
You went for just like you basically dropped a nuclear weapon on all of us with Muhammad Ali.
Yep.
And I went for total eccentricity, someone who's totally out there.
Yeah.
Yep.
Who do you think? Who are we declaring the winner of this round?
I think it's a tie across the board. His robot cut out again.
He phased out.
Yep, his robot cut out.
Should we do round 3? round 3?
I think that means yes. See if we get some more balloons.
Now that Usman has diminished my football connection,
Okay.
my last sportsman will come from Formula One.
Okay.
To your American audience, Formula One is like NASCAR, except with turns. Proper turns.
People in America, we know what Formula One. I have a Formula One driver too on my list, by the way. Let's see if it's the same guy.
My Formula One driver is the most legendary Formula One driver.
Oh, Michael Schumacher.
Very, very, very close tie between Michael Schumacher. But
I know who you're going. Yep.
I'm going with the one that I followed, I enjoyed, was in the public media. It was in the public limelight. Died a tragic death. Became even more legendary. Ayrton Senna of Brazil. Yes.
Okay.
Who died on the track in Monza in Italy.
Yeah.
I think in the late 90s. Legendary. I mean, all Formula One drivers think, you know, sometimes when sportsmen or actors or people in the limelight die tragically or die, people say before their time. That's what people say. Right. I have to think people die at that time. They become a bit mythic. They become a bit legendary, and Ayrton Senna is one of them for me.
Yeah.
And so I think in terms of Formula One, he's the one I go to. So that's my choice. I don't know if he smokes cigars, but that's my choice for my third.
Well, the honorable mention would be the German guy, and I can't remember his name, who got burnt very bad and continued racing. He worked with
Niki
Mercedes
Lauda.
for years.
He wasn't
Niki
German.
Lauda,
Niki Lauda was Austrian.
I'm sorry, it's the same thing, a friendly Nazi. But anyway, Niki Lauda.
Right. Yeah, I mean, when it comes to Formula One, there's so many. There could be, you know, Sterling Moss, Fangio,
Jackie Stewart.
Sorry, Jackie Stewart was a great. Lauda, absolutely. Niki Lauda, Alain Prost, Nigel Mansell. There's no end of. Yeah. The only one that I would not include in there is that twerp, Lewis Hamilton.
Can I tell you, Lewis Hamilton does nothing for me. I'm not a Mercedes fan. Go ahead.
Yeah, well, Raza, at least be respectful, Sir Lewis Hamilton.
Oh yes, that twerp, Sir Lewis Hamilton.
Wow.
I just don't like it. I don't like his personality. I don't like his personality. I don't like his attitude.
He was titled, so why not Sir Lewis Hamilton?
If you wish.
I'm not a Mercedes fan. I'm not a Lewis Hamilton fan. I'm like it's really funny. I don't like any real, who I like now in Formula One? I like Danny Ricciardo because he's a goofball. Danny Ricciardo is a goof. Love Danny Ricciardo. Like I would like, you should just have scotch and cigars with us, before the race. And I mean, literally an hour before. But anyway, I like Danny Ricciardo. I don't like any of the other drivers. Just seem like they have a fist up there, you know what? And then when it comes to the cars that are racing, I like Ferrari, not because I like Ferrari as a car, but I like Ferrari for the nostalgic part of Formula One. Like they've been there since day one. And the other one that I like just because, and I don't like Zach Brown at all, but I like the McLaren racing team because McLaren is really starting to show they got a little bit of balls. So I'm hoping next year, Ferrari and McLaren, because I'm not a Red Bull fan, wipe out everybody. I'm just hoping it's always Ferrari and McLaren all next year. That's my thing. Unfortunately for you, Lewis Hamilton's going to Ferrari next year. So,
well, Lewis Hamilton singularly is responsible for two things that I don't do. I don't enjoy Mercedes-Benz because of Lewis Hamilton, and I don't enjoy Formula One because of Lewis Hamilton. So I almost never watch Formula One because he's perhaps guilty of his own success. The fact that he kept winning and it was just repetitive just took it out for me, and I don't particularly like his personality. I think he's just arrogant.
He hasn't won forever. Like he hasn't won since 2021, and he just won this Sunday, and he hasn't won ever since. So I don't think you're going to see him win unless Ferrari comes up with a really great car next year for him.
Yeah, and I mean I love Ferrari. I love the mythos about Ferrari. I like the history, the pedigree. I think it's once all this crap is washed out, maybe I'll start watching Formula One again.
All right. So I'll miss you this year in Qatar.
Okay.
No, I'm happy to come along.
Okay.
As long as I'm not watching. I'm there for the hospitality.
That's what I'm there for. I'm there. Listen, I am there to hang out with everybody in the VIP suite. And when I ask, is this your daughter? And they're all like, no, it's my sugar baby. Don't tell my wife. I'm there for that because that's the funniest and most embarrassing times I can have there for people.
Don't say that on a YouTube channel.
No, God forbid. So it's always funny because when you go to the VIP around the world, you meet all these people. And I'm looking at these guys and I'm like, you were with a different girl the last time. You're like, no, that's this. This is that. This is my girl in this country. I'm like, okay, got it. Sorry, I didn't know what I was that crazy talk. So
So who are
What was
you
I
following
thinking?
up, Stephen? Who are you following up Senna with?
This is a toughie because like I said, I did some honorable mentions that I like, and then I was thinking, who really did something? Like who was like the thing? So I think I'm going to go with not an athlete, but a guy who was a U.S. football coach. They made a whole game about him, and he's in it. Was a broadcaster for years, and it has to be the one and only John Madden.
Oh, John. Yeah. Now I don't watch American football, but I have heard about him.
If you play any PlayStation John Madden football, that's John Madden. That's John Madden. John Madden was larger than life. I mean, yes, there was Lombardi, and yes, there was all these other coaches, but Madden, and there was what's his face from Dallas. But John Madden, when he was with the Oakland Raiders, he epitomized football, American football, and what it is. It's like go out there and hit them, and then hit them harder. You play, you do, you go. And then when he became a broadcaster, the way he was commentary, it made, even if you weren't a football fan, you'd listen to just him because his commentary was just like, well, that's pretty cool. Like any idiot could watch football and get it. So John Madden is a dinner guest I would go with. He's since his passed, unfortunately, but he's one of those I would love.
Good choice.
Right.
There you go.
How are you finishing this off, man?
Well, I thought almost that you've stolen mine, but since you didn't, and I'm going with the theme of all of my sportsmen with smoking cigars. So I'm going with Michael Schumacher, the one who loves
there you go.
898 after and before the game.
Salute to Michael Schumacher. What a cool dude.
Yeah. And while we are at it, a couple of honorable mentions. I would say Tiger Woods from that perspective. One, because I like golf and I like him in person. So and someone who smokes cigars. He's the one.
I just like that he has hot chicks.
and in recent times, LeBron James has actually shown up his cigar side right after winning and all of that. So I mean, I'd say these would be interesting dinner guests to have.
And LeBron James, from what I've seen, of the little bit I've seen of him, very approachable, like Shaquille O'Neal, very approachable on and off the court. Like if you like, he's not like one of these people like piss off. If you come up to him, he'll he'll be there. So so I like LeBron James. I'm not that I'm a fan, but I'm a fan, if that makes any sense.
Makes sense.
So,
makes sense.
Yeah. LeBron James. Yeah, good choices. So I'm surprised these guys aren't clamoring to be on the show. Who wouldn't want to be on the show? So
yeah. Gentlemen, let me show you.
How's it coming along?
You see the tone of the cigar? Yeah.
Oh, look at yours. Yours is almost done.
That is an example of beautifully rolled.
Yes, that's an example of bad Wi-Fi as well.
Yeah. Listen, you're going to have to kick the wife and the kids out and put them in this room, and you're going to have to go back to the other room. So
I just need to put another additional router, I think, which I need to fix.
By the time we see him next week, he's going to have like this dark wall, a rabbit in the background, 57 routers, girls fanning him, and so be like on the air lights, so everybody knows he's busy right now. He's got a thing going on here. So That was good. The sports figures. I liked it. That was nice. And it was good because we got people from all around the world. It wasn't just a centric of US or the UK. It was global. We had everybody.
Yes.
We didn't have any Asian athletes because I don't think there are any, as far as I know.
Not many that I know of as well.
Yeah.
Well, we didn't go to Usman and I didn't go towards cricket. We could have gone because we're both Pakistani. We could have gone in that cricket kind of direction. There's no end of cricket.
Right. I thought of that too.
Though I went with the theme of cigars and sportsmen, so
Right.
that's why I didn't mention. But I am very certain that if you're talking only of cigars, only of the sportsmen, I am yet to see anyone like Jahangir Khan and Jansher Khan from Pakistan who have been legendary when it comes to squash.
There you go.
And Jahangir Khan for straight like good 6 titles, and then for around 15, 16 years. So is Jahanshir Khan. So I think these people deserve that kind of recognition and command that kind of respect in their own areas. So
Yeah.
Or
I agree.
as Raza said, since we're not talking about cricket, or otherwise we could have had a lot of people that could have been there. And as far as the honorable mentions in that case are concerned, I would gladly and would be very, very over the moon if I get a chance to have my former Prime Minister, sportsman turned politician Imran Khan on the table as well. I mean, I think the gentleman truly is an icon himself, and I'm here talking purely from a sports perspective and someone who has shown that not only a sportsman but his philanthropic side is an amazing one, given the fact that he created the first of its own kind cancer hospital in Pakistan, where this is a huge concern, and did it 30 years ago.
Wow.
So,
just come on the show. Reach out to him, because David can't reach out to him in Pakistan because David can barely speak English. So
Usman can reach out.
You should reach out. Have him come on the show. We'll have Scotch and Cigars and we'll talk about sports with him. He'll put us all to shame. And then I can tell him about my charity that I started many years ago. It's a halfway house for girls that don't go all the way. And it does well. But anyway, so, you know.
Now,
fair enough.
Yes.
Fair enough.
Fair enough.
I know I won the. It's okay.
Okay. Now, before I forget.
Alzheimer's is kicking in.
Oh shit.
There we go.
I surprised myself with the ability to come up with the theme for next week.
You're not the only one that's surprised.
Somewhere in our dialogue, there is a word or something that sparks off the next theme.
Okay.
Now, I mentioned Bobby Fischer.
Yeah.
And I mentioned Bobby Fischer, apart from gamesmanship and his incredible personality, Bobby Fischer was known as a genius.
Mm-hmm.
And so my theme for next week is 3 genius guests.
You mean real geniuses or people that we think that are geniuses? Because we already did something like this.
Widely acknowledged as intellectuals of the highest caliber.
Are we doing it again?
We did that already about 3 weeks ago. Yeah, we did that 3 weeks ago.
That's why I said my Alzheimer's is kicking in.
Okay. Do you want to do that one again? We can.
Well, the problem is I keep winning these things, and I thought I'd give you
wow.
Go in a different direction. Well, if you don't want to go for that theme, we can go for another theme. I have a better idea now. Now I have a better idea. Now that you've absolutely slapped me down on that theme.
Well, you
why
enjoy
don't one of you pick the theme for next week?
Oh, that would have to be the sommelier. Let's have him do it.
Shit, man.
Shit, man. All I heard was shit, man.
I know, right?
Where the hell do we go with this?
Putting me in always. Okay. Whoa. Okay. Now
Or we can
that's-
leave it as a surprise. We can
How
we can
about I
start
come
next.
back to you? Yeah.
I think you're going to have to. In the
So let's
absence of
keep
any
it as a
ideas, you're going to
surprise.
have to come back with it.
Yeah. So I will text you both, hopefully by tonight or tomorrow.
Oh, so it's a surprise for next week.
That-
Oh, this will be interesting.
Yes.
All right. Well, the nice thing with this is that even if like 1 week we don't even have dinner guests, we can talk about topics. We have politics, you have all the stuff going on in the world. So there's always something. And that's what people I think don't understand. When you go to a chemist or a cigar lounge and you sit there with people, whether you know them or not, whether it's sports or politics or whatever it might be, there's always a topic going on. You know, it's like there's always something. People are
Absolutely.
always talking about something. So that's the nice thing about the brotherhood of a cigar. So
That is so true. That is so true.
I've got another idea because I don't
here
really want to leave it.
Oh,
I really don't want to leave
Okay.
it. I want to
Uh-oh.
leave this show knowing what we're going to do next show.
in any case, you're gonna forget it,
Okay.
and we have to remind you. So it's okay. Go ahead.
yeah, go ahead. I'll write it down.
I have the word mythic in my head.
Ooh.
Okay.
Now, mythic, mythos.
Mhm.
Why don't we go for legendary characters that don't exist?
Wow.
Mythic characters.
Mythical
that do
characters.
not
Right.
exist.
So oh, you know where I'm going? I'm going to China.
Yeah.
I know
I was
you
gonna
you
say-
always end up in the Far East somewhere.
There you go.
But I'm suggesting mythic characters that you would want sitting at your dinner table. That
Okay.
if you could actually transpose them into real life, who would you want to have a cigar and a drink with?
Okay.
Okay.
Is that?
Okay.
I think
I
that,
like
yeah,
it.
you're both saying okay. I think that's a. So instead of going for real life geniuses, let's go for fictional mythos.
Sounds good.
And I'm assuming that we, like Jesus and those other guys that were mythical, they're going to be removed.
That's
Right?
your choice where you want to take it, and then all the death threats will come to you.
No, as we like to tell everybody, send them to David because he enjoys it. So
Yeah, send them to David, and David will pass them on. He'll
David will
filter them in the right direction.
he'll pass them on to. I will ask David to come on next week, not with any guests, because David is mythical to the fans. Because unless they watch other shows, they've
Yes.
never seen David on this show. So David's a mythical character. So I'll ask our mythical character if he'd like to make a cameo next week for the first few minutes of the show and say hello.
Another reason why I've chosen mythic guests, I suspect Stephen is going to have fun creating a thumbnail for it for the next show.
Oh yes,
That's why.
the AI and I will have a
The
field
AI
day.
and you.
Oh.
When you say right, we're going to put in like Greek gods or
Yeah.
legendary creatures or whatever it is. That's going to be a good looking little thumbnail.
A little thumbnail. I got to tell you something. Using AI to do the thumbnails is awesome. Because if I had to do it, we used to just do like, here's the show, here's a picture, and then AI came along, and now it's like, I say to AI, I give it all the information. I told them what I want, and it'll do 3 or 4 different little thumbnails. I'm like, ooh, I like that one.
Yeah,
And I'm kind of stupid.
Really good ones, I have to say. So this is the place to make those commentaries. I really enjoy the thumbnails that you put up for that preview these shows. So it kind of entices me to watch my own show on a Saturday morning, which for those who are watching right now, you should subscribe and send some comments.
That's true. So
Absolutely.
well, this is
And
go ahead.
Well. Before we move on to anything else,
I like that he stops.
yeah. Did I again stop?
No, you're good now. We can hear you. You're not moving. Like most of my dates. Go ahead.
Okay. So what I said is that on the thumbnails, even AI was smart enough to.
I like the way he leaves the punchline hanging.
He leaves you hanging. Yeah.
Oh shit, man! What's wrong? Can
There you
guys
go.
hear me
Right now. Now we can hear you.
Yeah. So what I was saying is that even with AI was able to only figure out one global leader that they thought should be mentioned. And I'm sure Raza will be very pleased if you see that AI generated thumbnail. there was only one figure which could have been recognized, and that was your favorite, Donald Trump.
Donald Trump. Yep. I made
I
sure.
tried not to mention him, but the
That's
force is so strong that you mentioned him.
Well,
Come
Yeah,
to the
I'm like-
dark side of the force. There is
Talking-
much power in it.
talking about Mr. Trump, and since Mr. Biden doesn't want it, we just talked about this actually on ad hoc. Since Mr. Biden doesn't want to step down, and the Democrats, their policies are for shit, and they don't want to change their policies. And Mr. Trump, congratulations, you're now the king of America. And the Republicans, even though they're so off on most of the things, they do have several strong policies that I agree with. I just don't agree with their party. But if the Democrats aren't going to take this election seriously as much as, and listen, I give winnings where they're due. Mr. Trump is going to be the king of America January 6th or January 20th or 6th or whenever they swear him in, and it is what it is.
I agree.
Yeah.
I'm going to go out on a limb. I predict that Donald Trump will be president again.
The
You
king,
can-
yes,
you can quote me.
Donald Trump will be king. He'll be king. He'll be king of America.
Emperor of America.
Emperor Trump is what we're
I
going to do.
think that's a good
You know,
one, Emperor Trump.
We
TT.
keep asking Emperor Trump to come on the show, and I think his people are a little scared because I think they think we were going to beat the emperor up. But now that we know you're going to be the emperor, and we have to start sucking up to you, because I need you to lift the Cuba embargo so we can get cigars over here by the truckloads. I think the emperor should come on our show, and we should have a dialogue. And you know what's really funny? I don't really give a shit about your politics or your opinion. I just want to let's just talk about you. What makes the emperor tick? And your new clothes. That I think that would be fun to talk about that. And then I just read it in the and then his son's going to be over now in the Middle East in Dubai. They're going to be doing projects with the emperor's name on it. So it's good to be king. So there you go. So so the emperor. So unless Michelle Obama is going to be the presidential nomination and her vice president is Gary Newsom, Emperor Trump. Next year we have a new emperor in town, and it's going to be Trump, and then he's not going away. So
I still think I said this quite a few shows ago. I think the person that would actually make a great president for the United States would be Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yeah, but he can't because he wasn't a U.S. citizen.
Well, I know you say these things, but just about anything can happen in life, and any change can be made, and a constitutional amendment can happen, and it can happen at the right stage. Anything is possible. We've realized in the last sort of 10 years, more and more weird things are happening, things that are unexpected. The fabric of society is much more pliable than it used to be. And just about anything can happen. And it's based on willpower. It's based on populism. It's based on
graft, payoffs, blackmail tapes. All the good stuff in America.
Absolutely. Anything is possible. But I do think Arnold Schwarzenegger genuinely would make a great president. Great president. Very thoughtful.
And the only reason we say that is because he smokes cigars. And if we could get Donnie to smoke cigars, Donnie would be a good president then, and drink some scotch. And Donnie's a good emperor.
He doesn't smoke.
I know.
He has no real vices.
He does. Oh, stop. He has vices, but none that we can speak of because he's the emperor. So it's like when you live in certain countries, you can't say anything wrong about the emperor. They come and they take you away. So we won't be able to say anything wrong. We can't say anything wrong about the emperor. And now I have to start sucking up because I see that the Democrats aren't taking this election seriously, which annoys me because you can't even have a popular vote. It's all going to be based on this ridiculous electoral college crap. So now Mr. Trump is going to be the president because the Democrats aren't taking the election seriously. So congratulations, Mr. Trump. We're calling it in July of 2024. There you go.
I see Stephen as a bit of a go with the flow kind of person. I planted my flag a long time ago. Mr. Trump, Donald Trump, Emperor Trump is going to be number one.
I don't know if you remember last week when we were pandering the world leaders to come on the show and cigar companies to sponsor us and scotch companies and all that. As I said, my loyalty can be bought. So I'm very easy. I'm very flexible. I know.
Whilst it can be bought, it comes at a hefty price.
It does. It does. It's going to cost a lot.
Sell your soul to the devil first.
Oh, I'm right here. So I have the paperwork. We're good. So, it's good. One day I would love to have on our show, and I don't know how that would go. I'd love to have a rabbi and then a cleric from the Muslim community, as well as maybe one of those fake guys with a dog collar, Fido. And I'd love to have a discussion, a theologian discussion about gods from before 1611 and 1613 CE, when the Catholic Church, pardon my French, fucked it all up, and then everything before that, and then to where it is today, and how
are you expecting these three individuals to smoke cigars with us? Is that what you're expecting?
The rabbi would smoke cigars. The priest would just bring a 12-year-old boy. And I don't know enough. I mean, I met Muslim clerics before, so I don't know on air. I doubt that they would, and so I'm not sure. But I think it would be an interesting dialogue just for the three of them.
They'll just tell us whatever we're doing is wrong,
okay,
and we should not be smoking because smoking is like having drugs, and that is injurious to health and forbidden.
There's a whole range of ideas on these things. I just find that you can't really pin it down. Different people think in different ways.
I would love to get somebody who knows about like the texts that were just found in the British Museum that go back like 500,000 years that talk about the Anunnaki and Gilgamesh. I would love to get somebody on that actually knows that and have a dialogue about that.
Fascinating stuff.
That to me is. And now there's all this new stuff that's coming out in these books and the technology that they talk about. And one of the historians I was listening to, and I was reading something that they had written in like a real publication, and they're saying, we all think of whether it be a dragon or these flying cities and blah, 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 blah. But when you go back 50, 60, 100,000 years, they can't, like when they talk about how they would build a spaceship and it's how you build one today, kind of. I'm like, that's interesting. So I would really like to get somebody on that knows that. And the other thing that I'm fascinated by is the library at Alexandria that was burnt down. They said that
I know a lot about that. I know a lot about Library Alexandria.
That's a show.
And I know that library, the concept of that library is replicated to this day. Any major governmental institution or institution of power will always have a building underneath which is a library. And now this goes to the sort of Masonic underlying of American power, where presidents always leave a presidential library behind. Okay. So this goes back to the notion that power comes from knowledge. Knowledge comes from the storage of data in the form of the written word.
Right.
There's a lot of mysticism behind this. There's a lot of mythical history behind this. But I love this. The Library at Alexandria was actually founded by the Ptolemies.
Mm-hmm.
The sort of the Greek/Egyptian intellectuals, Ptolemy the First, Ptolemy the Second, Ptolemy the Third, and then was run by Hypatia. If you remember that woman that we spoke about, Hypatia, who is the world's perhaps foremost female mathematician. And the Library of Alexandria was apparently burnt down by the Romans, but also the history. If you read the history, it was burnt down accidentally by the Romans.
I don't think so.
There's a lot of debates on these things, but then again, what recorded history says and what mystic history says and what, when you scratch under the surface, you find so many different veins of truths. You have to really, really focus on those things. But very, very interesting topic, the Library at Alexandria. One of the former wonders of the ancient world, the Library at Alexandria.
But just think about everything that was there that was either lost or stolen and hidden or moved. I know a lot of people think the Catholic Church has stuff. They don't have squat.
That's right.
But they talk like some of the books they said they were there was on time travel, different species of life, where we really come from. All that to me is fascinating. And I read an article. The guy was like, well, I think it's Brian Carson, who's this new guru now in this area, right? He said the library was burnt because the ancients didn't want us to know where we really came from, or the people that were in power didn't want you to know that this isn't real. And then now, it goes into all that. So he's somebody that I would love to get on the show, but he's such in high demand that I don't think he would, like, by the time he shows up on our show, there'll be a new guy. But I would love to hear this guy.
After all, you managed to get me on the show. So
well, that's true. That's
true. Could happen.
Hey, we should just get someone from someone from the London men.
It's just jokes. It's just humor.
Well, people don't have that anymore. So, but I like it. So listen. Like I said, the three of us get along wonderfully, and I think if we ever got someone on to do an interview with, that would be awesome. But I will find out from David, since next week's topic is mythical creatures or mythical legends that we want to have on. If David would like to make a cameo, legends. If David likes to make a cameo,
I say fictitious. A myth is pretty much something that's transmitted through time, but is unsubstantiated in terms of reality. I'm going to put it in inverted commas. Because sometimes, and not sometimes, often, these myths are like a bit of a smoking trail. There is smoke, so it must have come from a cigar, if you know what I mean. Now, whether it was a cigar or a house fire or whatever it is, but there was a source. So myths come from something. But what I was thinking of, the widely acknowledged myths, like, I don't know, the heroes from Greek myths, or the gods, or cartoon myths, or whatever it may be.
I'm going to go for the ancient Chinese.
However you interpret it, but something mythical. Three mythical guests.
You could literally go, if you believe in the Anunnaki, you can go to the Anunnaki. If you believe in the Egyptian gods, you have all the Egyptian gods. So some people would say that they were real. Some people are going to be that they were myths. So, but I agree with there's smoke, there's fire. So it'll be very interesting to see it.
Yeah. And this little stick, this Edmundo, this cigar, for me is a great analogy of life. You burn through it. There is smoke generated. Those are the memories. I mean, you can just get philosophical about this kind of stuff, right? Yeah. Sure. When it comes to myths, I think those are the smoke. There must have been a source for that smoke. And that's how I think. Sorry, I got a little bit serious there, but I was contrasting against the humor earlier on.
I like that. That's beautiful.
And we're going to end with a bit of sour.
That's very nice. I like that.
Again, that's the beauty of the whole conversation. On cigars, it's not always about the humor side. People digress from one side to the other, and it gets to the serious part as well. So, I mean, that's how we keep it real.
Yeah.
And what happens at the chemist shop, in Steven's words.
That's why you go. You go to hang out with your mates or make new mates, so to speak. And that's why the three of us do enjoy hanging out with each other for an hour every week. And then when we get together in London, we're going to spend the week together, and we'll have to do like a different show every day. So that's going to be bad for all those people. So there's some hefty cigar bills running up there. Gentlemen, as always, it is a pleasure to see you on this beautiful Saturday morning. Wink, wink, Hollywood Saturday, as we like to say. We will see everybody next Saturday morning. Don't forget to subscribe and like. If you want to hear the podcast, go to Two Old Farts Making Noises, anywhere you get your podcast, and look for the Habanos Cigar and Drink Show. If you want to see our beautiful faces and cigars, you can tune in our YouTube, check out the playlists. We are here. And that's it for now. We'll see everybody next week. Gentlemen, cheers. Have a wonderful day.
Lights out.
Lights out.